Alright, guys, welcome back to the Study Prep Guys channel. This is the continuation of the Study Prep Guys series, the Study Prep Guys notes. So, we'll deal with economies, the market structure of monopolies. It is a very important in CSEC. We are looking at monopolies. In this course, we're looking at a monopolistic market structure, assumption of a monopoly, how monopolies are created, monopolies and the barriers to entry, some arguments for monopoly and some arguments against monopoly. We'll be looking through all of this through a three video series. So let's look at the basic definition of a monopolistic market structure. A monopolistic market structure can be defined as having only one seller who sells a product or service which is not offered by anyone else. Thus, the word mono meaning singular. Anytime you hear the word mono, that means singularity. That means it's single in senses. So let's look at some of the assumptions of a monopoly that are either correct either are completely incorrect or usually are misrepresented. It says here if the monopoly does not violate the legal rights of the consumers, the government will not intervene. That is a wrong assumption. In the situation someone does violate the legal rights of consumers, the government will intervene. This could be in the case of the monopolistic seller selling the price of his or her product at excessively high prices. In that case, the government will intervene and do something called a price ceiling. A price ceiling is a case scenario wherein the government sets a particular price for that good or service, so that it could meet the average income of the consumer. So there are many buyers within the market, but only one seller, the monopolist. This is a correct assumption. There are many buyers who want to get into the market, but they find it usually difficult to get into a monopolistic market structure. Other firms find it very difficult to enter the market, enabling the monopolist to make substantial profits in both the short and long term. It is correct in a sense, but it's not totally correct. Long term, no. Short term, yes. Over time, with the selling of that product, it will either be copied or pre-manufactured. We see that in communist countries such as China. We see that in a lot of communist countries, usually China, 90%, I would say 98% of the time, China usually remanufacture that good and usually sell it at lower prices and what's not. In the short term, yes, but when you're looking at enabling from the long term perspective, usually no, it is usually not in that regards. And yes, the monopolist does aim to maximize his or her profits in the short term for the amount of time until or either the good is remanufactured. A big benefit of the monopolistic market structure is economies of scale. They can sell the good at a certain price they want to sell it, meaning that they could actually be flexible in how they sell a good because of its necessity. So, how monopolies are created? By law, by competition, by forming a cartel, by ownership of scarce resources. So, usually in the case of crude oil, we use the case of crude oil. Within the case of crude oil, they may need to sell the good product or service due to the sheer scarcity and vulnerability and even competition of the good in its entirety by forming a cartel. What do we mean by cartel? So, a cartel is created when the individual firms in an industry make an agreement to restrict their output to some agreed amounts and to charge a common price. That is what we call the price ceiling. Usually in economics, we'll use the term quota. We can't sell a certain variety or a certain amount of that product. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, is a form of cartel. The exportation of natural gases or crude oil, that is an OPEC industry. Since it is an OPEC industry, we that is one way of which it could be farmed, and certain amount of that product or oil could be exported at a particular time. A certain amount of tons would be exported. So from this class, you could basically summarize a couple of major points. So, first of all, a monopolistic market structure can be defined as having only one seller who sells a product or service which is not offered by anyone else. Secondly, other firms find it very difficult to enter the market, but only one seller, the monopolist. Thirdly, monopolies are formed by law, competition, etc. Now we will close off with some question for the viewership. You could type your thoughts in the comments down below. So these are some of you could test your understanding. You could type in the comment below. You could directly message it to me, or it's not. The link is in the bio below. So discuss three reasons why monopolies are formed. And for the second question, um, is the following statement true or false? Um, I'll think write it right here. I'll just say it. Monopolies are under constant pressure from their competitors. You could type in the comments below if that statement is true or false. I repeat it one more time. Monopolies are under constant pressure from their competitors. So you could type either true or false in the comments below. So guys, see you next video. We will be now looking onto monopolistic competition or perfect competition. I would like to say it in the next video.